Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it may happen to be, wherever you are, and welcome back once again to the Initiative Order and to Chalice. Look, it's us again, a week later, but with different faces. Isn't that fantastic? We'll ignore the 4-month gap.
What? Time?
Time is a flat disk, that's what people keep telling me. So,
soup.
It is. Now,
Drink the
apart
soup.
from everyone here being dressed obscenely warmly for the weather, which we won't get to, it can just stay as it is at the moment. We come back to, as I say, Chalice, episode 4. I'm just going to say episode 2 at this point for my own sanity. And team number 2 are wonderful hunters. The long arm of the law and the person they happen to be carrying along with them.
Hey.
So
Hey,
let's...
Heavy, he's my prisoner.
We'll run by, we'll say hello to everyone, and then we'll jump on ahead with the episode. So, starting with whoever happens to be closest to me on the camera I can see, I'm going to start with Lynn.
Oh, okay. Hello. I'm Lynn. I play Florance Lane, Warden well, maybe not extraordinaire. Wants to be Warden extraordinaire. Distrustful of the Inquisition, has sort of been handed over this investigation by her commanding officer and is teamed up with the wonderful Burton. And together we are currently trying to figure out just exactly what Jack is and where he's going, and hopefully reunite him with his friends and we can get some answers.
Thank you very much. Kay.
Hi, y'all. I am Kay Purcell, she, they pronouns, and I'm playing Burton. Burton is they, them pronouns, and yeah, it's just good folk, just trying to do right by people and keep folks safe, and Warden, and trying to figure out what's up with this big fella over here.
And on the note of the big fella over here, Jago.
Hello, I'm Jago. I'm playing Jack. I am the aforementioned big boy. The big one. That guy they just picked up and are just gonna... They're honestly giving me a lot of leeway, and this is oddly friendly. I think that's the most confusing part about it. They've got no reason to trust me or give me an inch of rope on that leash, but they're giving me about a mile, and I'm kind of... This is very confusing. They've got to have some strategy, or at least they should, because I mean, there's a 8-foot hulking man of rock and stone and nasty punchy ability. So yeah, let's see where this goes, because it would be funny if they're not good. It would be funny.
But you got
Not
flowers.
I do have flowers.
Pretty flowers.
There's sprouting little flowers. It's lovely.
Not to cast aspersions or anything, but it does sound a little bit like a trap, Jago. I'd be wary if I were you.
Just a little bit, but am I trapped in it with them, or are they trapped in it with me?
This is a good
This
question.
face
Column A,
would lie.
column B.
Or is it a turducken?
And
Definitely turducken.
There you go.
at the very end of that, I am still me. I am Ben, for tonight, your baritone bishop of blasphemous blessings.
Oh, he's
Because
still
we're
doing
this
it.
again.
He's doing it.
And welcome again to Chalice, please. Man behind the scenes, Mr. Daniel Aid, who it is his birthday. So everyone say happy birthday to Danny. I'll tell everyone because I know he's going to enjoy it. Everyone in Chalice gets a wish on their birthday, and that does even extend to the man behind the scenes. So at any point, Danny gets to make something happen. I'd be more worried about...
I mean, this.
Hey, look, we're back and no one's wearing the same clothes. Isn't that slightly weird? It's just quite warm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cosplay
toast.
attempted.
It's
Yeah.
toasty.
It is. So,
Cosplay in the winter. There's the
It's
plan.
summer.
There's a pro trip. Pro tip: cosplay in the winter.
the solid plan. So, here we are once again, everyone. And again, normally, as I did last week, I would say, please, someone recount things for us. However, two people have been foolish enough to fairly obviously point out that what they did was rewatch the last episode. So, I am going to ask someone to recount what happened last time, and for their merit, if they pull it off, as I go to get my timer, they get an extra card when you have to pull cards.
That's who watched it.
Who wants to?
I'll do it.
Go on.
You'll do it?
So,
Timer started about 10 seconds ago.
alright, so basically what happened is these two schmucks over here got told, hey, so as you can see, the city's gone to a bit of a shithole. Sort it out, or at least find one of the buggers who are still here who did it because he's still around. They were offered a team to go find with them, didn't take it. Found a massive hulking rock monster in a sort of septic sewage place, so I'm not really sure what the exact purpose of the building was. Anyway, found him, managed to sort of found an tense truce, got him some new clothes, got him some food, and basically worked out the deal of take us to the rest of the crew, or give us enough information to get to the rest of the crew, and we don't immediately shoot you in the face. And that's whereabouts. I think we were
5 seconds.
just sort of coming out of the
3,
building, and
2,
yeah,
1.
I think that's where we were.
I really want to give that to you, Jago. I really, really do.
Oh, what did I miss? What did I miss?
Well, you're a little bit more colourful than you used to be.
Your mama's a flower.
Yeah, that was a thing that directly affected you. You enjoy that card you're not getting. So,
Don't like this game anymore. I couldn't.
first they take away
Rage
my
quit.
dice.
First they take away my dice, and then they take away my extra cards. This is bullshit.
Well, with a wonderful recount, but not wonderful enough to earn you anything, let's dive back in as we come to Florance, Burton, and Jack, making their way slowly through the dusk docks of Saushert, deep in Chalice. In the few hours since we last met, it's a lot more than a few hours, but you know, you've been traveling slowly from the warehouse district of Saushert, narrowly passing your way through small alleyways and by quieted streets to make your way down to the dusk docks and find yourself somewhere to talk, perhaps a ship, the next step of whatever plan you intend on making. We currently find you stood just off the high street that runs along the external edge of Saushert, linking the two docks together by a series of small bridges. The only thing that has changed since one of your number last walked this way are the number of checkpoints, the number of guards, and the general air of discomfort that flows through town like cheap wine. Everyone is on edge, and no one trusts anyone. Besides, of course, this strange trust that's been offered to you, Jack, by the two wardens currently leading you through the town. And this is where we come to make you make your first set of decisions. Burton, Florance, where are you going?
I think that's up to our friend here. Hey, Jack, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, we're keeping you safe. We're not trying nothing. We want to get you out. Where are you going? Head to the docks. We can get you a ship. But you got to trust us enough to tell us that.
I can. I'll show you.
I mean, can you show us on a map? Because I don't know if you know, I don't know much about ships, but depending on how far you got to go, you got to get different size.
I was a fucker, so I couldn't tell you much about fucking ships, but I can. See, the thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is that 2 wardens have pulled one of the most wanted men in the country at the moment out of a state where they were probably just going to die in a hole anyway. To what? Just as a free pass? Just get him out because get him out. You obviously want to know where I'm. You want to know, not because you just want me to go. You want me because you want to get to track down everyone else. I'm stupid, but I'm not thick.
Just so you're aware, as you're stood talking, you are quite literally stood just on the side of a road. Your back's to an alleyway that extends deeper into Saushert. The people of the town are milling past you in their masses. There's sound of commerce on both sides, the salty smell of the sea air on the air. Your likelihood of being listened to at the moment, even inadvertently, is quite high.
All right, friend. Before we say anything more, we're gonna go get a ship, right? You want to talk in an alley somewhere a little. I want you to be able to call the shots because I want you to feel comfortable. I know you don't trust us. Like I said, we want you out of here so you don't do any kind of motions back to all of this, right? That is our goal. So where do you need to go to be comfortable? Because I don't want to be having this conversation where like some passerby is going to get. You're already drawing enough attention. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking look at me. There's nowhere I'm going to be where I'm not drawing attention.
No. So do you want to step
not on a boat?
All right.
You want to step into an office, or do you want to step into the alley?
Let's just get in the alley then. Right.
You turn in place and descend deeper into the alleyway. For the purposes of those who haven't tuned in before, Florance and Burton, as you begin to walk behind Jack, again, you're kind of placed into his shadow almost inadvertently, just to the sheer size of the man. Easily standing at 8 foot tall with shoulders that nearly cause him to walk whilst touching either side of the small alleyway. There is a bulkiness to his form that belies an inhuman physiology. Both of the shoulders are slightly misaligned, even as he moves. Any moment where you would assume anyone else, or either the two of you, your shoulders would remain level. His right arm is always slightly higher than his left. And that's to say nothing of course, the small portions of skin that poke out from behind the hem of his jacket and the base of his hair, where you can see small rocky outcroppings. And of course, even as he moves deeper into the shadow, small bursts of green ivy and bright purple poppies that just eke out to try and reach out with small amount of sunlight available. Only slowly and almost purposefully retreating deeper into the crevice of the stone as he moves further from the sunlight.
We are something.
Kind of pretty.
A fair few more steps carries you deeper into the alleyway, and to a point where you move behind a series of different stores and homes and other buildings, and you stand in a very small, squared off space, just about large enough for the three of you. You're fairly certain no one else is within earshot, but without running a sweep on the area, it's hard to say. But you feel relatively comfortable with your position. Don't think anyone can hear you.
Right.
Okay. I know. I mean, I don't think it's quite fair to say you got no reason to trust us, because we have been as accommodating as I think we can be. But it's all to try and assure you, because we don't want trouble. We want you out of here. And yeah, we want you and we want your friends and we want you gone. We're not here to search and destroy. We've been friendly because you haven't been coming out swinging. No one's been smushed. We appreciate that. So that's why so what can we do? Put you at ease. And we wanna, and they'll look at Florance, we want your side of the story. We want to know what's up because we are not being completely filled in. And at least one of us here doesn't really trust the Inquisition.
Nope.
So.
Not one bit. And.
Unjustified.
Indeed. The Inquisition seem to be running on their own agenda. And they seem to be wanting to rain down fire and brimstone on you and those that you are associated with. What we want to do is understand your side of the story, as Burton has said, and help you and your friends achieve getting away from all of this, perhaps.
Right.
We don't have any underhand motivations in this.
But you tell us where to go. There's a protectorate office. We'll go requisition a boat. Take a skeleton crew. So you got fewer people. Not that I don't think you could handle just about however many folks we want to throw at you, but take the smallest crew we can to get however far we need to get. We've been charged to get you out of the city without burning it down again. No scenes, no bloodshed.
All right. So we're heading to Morristown. You get me on that boat with you, and then you get the next step.
Sounds like a deal.
Sounds fair.
Because you're not leaving. I know. I'm fairly sure I know what the real orders were. Not to get me out of here was to find out as much as you can, if everything now, and then just cut the cord. So to speak. I know that I'm fairly certain you government types. It's not a lot of care. It's what
Hey,
can I offer
hey.
you?
Ain't no reason to be rude.
No,
No.
we're not all the same.
I'm not gonna lie, government's been good to me, right? I came from nothing, and they've given me a chance, mostly because I can use magic, and I did it the right and proper way. But you're doing something no one's ever seen, and I completely understand you're not wanting to be.
Channelers don't get a good rap. You don't really get a choice in the matter, do you? I'm not here to talk politics. I'm just here to make the best deal for myself.
I can promise you, hand of the martyr. Not here to do nothing sneaky. I'm trying to get you out of here. Want to hear your story. And so long as you promise to get out of this place, don't come back. Don't be raising no hell. We're done with you. If you want to do us a kindness and tell us your side, we want to hear it and pass it on, because it's not just that we don't trust the Inquisition. They're being shady to our boss. We don't quite like that.
They were kidnapping a kid, so you can write that to your boss.
Well, see, that's interesting, because we heard that y'all were kidnapping the kids.
I saw it. They'd love to swing it that way, wouldn't they?
Burton looks around. Maybe let's not talk about kidnapping civilians right here, right now. All right? Come on, camera. Work with me. Here we go. And we do that right here. Let's get the boat.
On your comment there, Burton, on looking around, I'd like everyone to draw 3 cards, please, because, Burton, I need you to make me a notice check, please.
Oh, that's great, because I'm real good at noticing.
Yeah.
Difficulty 10.
Difficulty 10. Okay, I believe...
Oh, I can work with it.
My notice is 2, but notice is also based off of cunning, correct?
Correct.
So it's a -1. because my cunning is -3.
Started so well.
That's
Sorry, I was going to say I have a 3 in notice and a 2 in cunning,
That would be
well.
which makes 7. No,
That is
5.
That is
I had a
Only
moment
12.
there, Lynn. Yeah.
you could
Wow.
see the cogs just break down for a minute.
Yep.
As you turn your eyes around, Burton, just on the sheer comment of kidnapping, you glance through the nearby alleys that come from 4 different directions into your small little square. And just very briefly, you see the shadow of someone moving from the alleyway you came in via, followed by a very, very subtle sound of footsteps moving away from.
So Burton is not the most stealthy, but they've been working quite a while with someone who is. Burton is gonna lock eyes with Florance and just very, almost imperceptibly tilt their head back behind us.
Will I notice anything about
You
this
can
person?
now do the same check, but it will
Same.
be dropped to difficulty 6 because it's been pointed out to you.
And
Okay.
Burton will just kind of look to Jack and do a.
Okay.
Everyone must be quiet.
So I have a 5. Mm, anyway.
Right, you froze a moment there,
Yeah.
Lynn.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you use the Roll20 deck, not the Twist Fate deck. Unless you want to replace it.
internet connection. Really hoping I'm not about to disappear.
Oh,
Okay.
it
Roll
seems
20.
to stabilize.
Yeah. Roll 20 deck. That is the 9 of masks.
And with +5, you said?
Yeah.
That's a critical
40.
success. You look directly past Burton and catch a glimpse of something down the alleyway. As you do, they pop up from behind a series of barrels. They were clearly moving from one to the other. I am curious how much of what I'm saying is about to vanish as she froze again.
I
Nope,
can
still
feel
that.
it.
Cool.
I can
Brilliant.
hear. Yeah.
Cool. You see this person move between a series of barrels before glancing backwards, and you see the quick look of a relatively young man, probably you'd say early 20s, hair cropped back, and more precisely, shaved to the absolute limit. Glancing over at you, as I said, locks eyes before twisting and bolting in the opposite direction, taking off as high speed as they can. Their clothing is very, very clearly tailored to look inconspicuous. It gives you every impression of someone who is putting on airs to look like no one.
Okay.
I'm going to need everyone to make me an initiative flip, please.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay, here's the gun.
We'll start with whichever one of you chooses. Let's go with Jago. Please flip the card.
Okay, that was a 10. Because I'd already. Do you want me to flip again? Because I'd already flipped. But
No, it's fine. Go with that.
No, okay, that was 10 minus 1, so 9.
Cool. Thank you very much. Okay.
That's a 4 minus 1.
Doing well. And finally, Lynn.
The tab's open. So, okay, that is 1, so 3.
Okay. Right. Well, each of you snaps into some form of movement, being prepared to react to whoever this is charging off as quickly as physically possible. Unfortunately, it seems they're prepared for this and take off at high speed before any of you have the opportunity to react, starting their initiative at 10. You watch them heel down the alleyway you came from, knocking over a couple of barrels as they go just to put an obstacle between yourself and them before twisting around a corner and darting out of sight.
Would all this have happened? Would they be more than 10 yards away by the time I would have a chance to do anything?
They would at this point, unfortunately. Okay. If you'd beaten them, definitely not.
Just had to check.
It's always worth asking. But as they disappear down the alleyway and twist off to the left, each and every one of you can act at the same time.
I'm not sure what my parameters are.
I mean, personally, I vote we just get on a boat and get out of here as quickly as we can.
Yeah, we've clearly got some attention. I'd like to get you out of here. Unless you want to go try to bop them with that arrow, let's just hurry this along, yeah?
Let's...
Oh no.
I feel like a router needs to be reset.
I think that might be the case.
Out of here. Oh.
That phantasma that's draining.
Fight it!
Am I going...
Would you like a minute to reset me?
Bear with me. Yeah, I think what's happening is Bite is sucking all the juice out of the internet because he is also streaming right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I can ask him if he can potentially throttle his stream slightly. But
I say just unplug his computer.
Just unplug his computer. Actually, it says he's not live right now, so I think he's just playing games with friends. Apologies, everyone.
What a bastard. How dare he? Quite frankly.
I know.
Just for giggles, if I were to run to the end of the alley and look left, would I be able to see him, and would he be within 10 yards?
If you pass a notice check, yes. As you... It's not going to be a difficult one. You know who you're looking for.
Okay.
But if you're willing to commit to the action,
I will commit to the action.
Commit to the bit.
See if I can see him.
You bonk down the alleyway as quickly as you can, passing over a few of the barrels rather rapidly. You do lose a little bit of speed just because you have to do that. So when you twist around the corner and see the busy street in front of you, you have to fairly quickly try and pick him out of the crowd. If you can make me a notice check at, we'll say, difficulty, we'll say 8.
8 is exactly. It's a 9 of crows minus 1.
Perfect. You pick him out in the middle. He's just drawing himself into the largest portion of the crowd. You can see the water on the other side, but there is a direct line of sight to him. One you're fairly confident he doesn't know you have.
Brilliant. So I see him and everyone else is behind me. So they're not going to have to see this because I don't like folk to see this. And Burton is going to just reach out a hand and those big brown eyes suddenly go purple. And their voice says, I think y'all should come back here. And they're going to cast Beckon.
Okay. I seem to remember off the top of my head, you need to make another skill check for me.
Yes, I need a tenacity 7 of crows.
Mm-hmm. Go
and that is, the card I drew is a 13 of masks, but I have an 8 of spades in my twist deck.
Perfect. That'll definitely do it.
That'll do.
Nice.
You reach out and impose your will on the man. From your perspective, you see him simply stop dead in place, as if all portions of his body just fail to work for a moment, before his attention is very purposefully and slowly drawn back. His body adjusts and turns in place, bringing his shoulders around before his head, almost as if his movements are no longer really his to make. And very purposefully, but worryingly slowly, he makes his way back to you, his eyes now matching the color of your own. Only for a moment, though.
Yeah, Burton's going to listen to see if anyone else is coming up behind or if they've stayed in the alley.
It's up to these two.
With Yeah, Jack. Jack's gonna just creep around. What the?
Oh no. Am I here? No?
Oh, yes. Hello.
Yes. Am I able to see the mystery person that Burton's just beckoned over to us?
If the two of you are making your way up behind her, yes.
Okay.
Or behind you, sorry.
And how long will the beckon spell last?
It to the end of this person's walk aspect. So it is
Okay.
not long. So Burton is like listening
Yeah.
to see if y'all are coming, to see if
Mhm.
someone's going to do something or if they're taking action as soon as they.
That's cool. In which case, can I shoot that arrow that Burton enchanted that has the rooting enchantment on it, which means they will be stuck in place if I hit them with this arrow?
You 100% can. Just as a reminder, though, this is right next to a fairly busy
Yeah.
street.
Into a crowd.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't shoot at random passers-by.
Can I just walk up and just on the shoulders?
That's
just
what
hold
I
them
was
in
hoping.
place.
Yep,
That's
cool.
what I was hoping.
Yep, Jack, you loom.
Oh, hey, and like Burton, as soon as Jack comes around, like will immediately like drop the spell and their eyes go away and like their voice stops. Like they said that and their voice did this weird, creepy distorting that was, if I had my voice meter still hooked up, I would have done it. But you know, I think y'all should come on here. Like it's not, it's creepy. Burton's like, oh hey, thank you much. Hi feller. Who are you? And it's just unceremoniously going to start like frisking this person, looking through their jacket, like trying to figure out who the hell they are, not waiting for an answer, but still being very polite about it.
Does mean I'm
Oh, as long as they are.
deputized?
Immediately make me another notice check in that case. We'll just say this is going to be difficulty 4, just to check them over, see what they have. The man you have at this point, Jack, you're holding him down, and you can feel a degree of muscle under his shirt. Definitely someone who is in shape for a purpose, but you are distinctly stronger than they are. How did the check go there?
Oh, that's a 1.
Cool.
That's a 2 minus 1.
Cool.
Give up, shake him.
They've got nothing. You're sure he's got nothing on it?
Yeah, Burton kind of shrugs and steps back. He's like, all right, I like the blending in. You want to answer some questions?
He stands deathly still, eyes flipping between each of you. I'm just a citizen, Saushert. Please release me.
Really? Because it seems like you might be a little nervous. Maybe could do with a hug, a little
Seems-
tighter one.
Awful rehearsed.
Mm-hmm. And you just happen to be eavesdropping on Wardens in an alley by accident and then running away by accident.
I am a citizen of Saushert. Please release me.
Can you say anything
Sigh.
other than that?
This is Burton's gonna lean in. You're not gonna make me do that unpleasant thing again, are you?
Make me an intimidate check there, please, Burton.
So the thing
Did
about
you
my
shoot it?
intimidate.
Be good.
Whatever it is, flip it. Well, we'll just say you're getting a bonus card for this from
Okay.
your position and who you have with you. So flip 2, take the best. Is going to be difficulty.
Apologies.
Sorry.
Then. Is intimidate out of cunning or out of charm?
It's out of tenacity.
It is.
Tenacity.
I have it here.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so we're flipping 1. That's a 7 plus 2 for a 9. And that's a 10 plus 2 for a 12.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
You're not going to make me do that unpleasant thing again, are you?
What filth.
Oh, yeah. Nice of you to notice.
I am a citizen of Saushert. Please release me.
No one's questioning that. We just want to know why you was creeping on us.
I happen to be in the alleyway. Nothing more. as you've kind of locked eyes with him so intently, you see him very quickly glance off to the side and down the street in the opposite direction. You get the impression if you hadn't caused him to break for a moment, he wouldn't have done it.
I'm going to motion that way to Florance, not taking my eyes off of him.
Florance, can you make me a scrutiny check, please?
Scrutiny. Do I have... Oh, yes, I do have scrutiny. Okay, so 2 in scrutiny.
Again, this is difficulty 10.
Okay, so scrutiny and cunning makes 4, and when I find the right tab, there we go, I can flip a card for... That is 13 of tomes.
I mean, yeah, that'll do it.
That's 17.
That's again a critical success. You follow the man's eye line down and you see slightly further down the road another individual, differently built, its exact same haircut, exact same disposition, who locks eyes with him, locks eyes with you, twists and just steps into the crowd.
Okay.
All right.
Considering he seems to have some sort of twin, I'm not going to pursue, but I'm going to turn my attention back to the guy that's with us.
Quick, like world lore, in character knowledge. Is this this feels like kind of a rebellion thing? Is this the kind of thing we would bring someone into the protectorate for? Or is this just like, people are unhappy? Like,
it's hard to say. There is a lot of civil unrest at the moment, but the idea of a full-blown rebellion is thankfully still rather scarce, apart from, there's a lot of union noise coming from Dis and Dagos at the moment. But other than that, there's no foundations for anything larger. Let's go with, I can ask either Florance or Burton. Unfortunately, this will probably be beyond Jack's kind of skill base.
I'm simple.
Yeah. Make a deceive check for me. In fact, both of you can do this. It is difficulty 10. Cunning if you don't have it.
Yeah, I am not going to be good at any chance I could convince.
3.
This is more knowing the disposition of agencies in the world more than anything else.
So I flipped to 6 plus 3, that would make 9.
Unfortunately not then, unless you're willing to cheat.
For world lore?
Well, this is less...
I know someone who would.
This is less world lore and trying to work out perhaps who he might work for.
Okay.
If at all anything.
Can I put my 5 of masks on that?
So it replaces the card rather than adds it to the card. Yeah. So you'd want to give you something that would give you over 10.
See, this is the thing, like reading it but not going in. Okay, so it was a difficulty of 10, right?
Yep.
Well, I flipped a 2 and I've got a -3 to cunning.
If I match it and make 10?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, cool. Make 7. Maths! Yay!
Yay! So as far as you're concerned, Burton, may just be a random passerby who's being unusually belligerent.
Yeah.
Florance,
I'm just a little cross because he insulted me.
Florance, there are 2 agencies in the world that tend to make use, or at the very least 2 agencies in Chalice, that tend to make use of people trained in this manner. Mm-hmm. You're one of them. The other is the Inquisition.
Okay. So I know that Burton did a pat over dusting down with this person. Can I step in and try it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to search the offender. This is just routine, sir. I understand you may be a citizen of Saushert, so if I find nothing, then clearly you have nothing to hide. So, yes.
Notice difficulty 4.
Notice difficulty 4. So many tabs. Notice is 3, cunning is 2, which is 5, not 7, and then we flip a card. which is a 12. So 12 plus 5 is 17. Yes, I'd still count on my fingers. Numbers are hard.
They are.
Whatever works, works. But
Burton's
again, that
watching
is
you go in and is like, I searched him. There's nothing there. He's fine. He's just.
double success. So even super critical success. As you say that, Burton, Florence, you reach into his pocket and pull out a derringer. And
Oh.
How did you miss this?
as well as a very small shard of crystal, which as you pull it out and it's exposed to the air and passes near both Burton and Jack, begins to glow with a very strong violet light.
Channel a detection stone. Right?
Very much so.
Ah, cool.
Only carried by Inquisitors.
I'm going to be holding these things and I'm like, you're lying to us.
You're lying. Not
Badly at this stage.
He looks at them, back at you. I am a citizen of Saushert. Please release me.
Oh,
And how would a citizen of Saushert come by one of these? She says, sort of gesturing to the stone, which she's definitely going to confiscate now.
As my property, and as a citizen of Saushert, I ask you to release me and return my property.
All right. Florence, will you just turn away? Jack, don't look or don't freak out. Please, I'm asking y'all kindly.
Okay, that's fine. I will, I'll just... The roofs are very interesting all of a sudden.
This is
I'm not looking away.
not gonna work, but Burton's gonna lean in and again does not reach for that pocket watch. Instead, their eyes turn colors and their voice starts to distort again. And they're like, I think you should tell us what's really going on. And they're gonna cast Interrogate. That's gonna require a 10 of crows, at least. Gonna be tough. That's an ace of masks.
Yikes.
You do your best. You channel the energy through your body and push your will onto this man. This time, it just doesn't seem to stick. You're not sure if it's he resists it or if it just never manages to get hold in the first place. But one way or the other, his face just twists for a moment and he returns to the same expression of indignation that he's held until that point. If anything, slightly more annoyed. You see his lip curling more.
Yeah. Burton shakes their head. They clearly do not enjoy doing that. All right.
Which way to your offices? Somewhere we can hold him. Or the Wardens can. I've had enough of this. We're taking too much time.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Florence.
I mean, our priority right now is this big guy over here. Whatever this guy was doing.
Yeah, I don't think if we take him in, they're gonna hold him.
No. And I don't particularly want to bring him with us either.
But, I do think we should have a little something for our troubles. Pockets the derringer.
Yeah, I'm pocketing the crystal.
You should.
And then just say that because Jack is there, I'm just going to go, well, at least you're still walking. And then I think we can just turn him loose.
Yeah, one citizen to another. Have you a nice day.
Do you let him go, Jack?
Sort of roughly toss him, but not actually going to hurt him.
Yeet.
Yeah. You push him away and he kind of backs into the crowd. At this point, you are aware that whereas no one has stopped, you've definitely, you've had a good amount of rubbernecking of people walking past and paying attention to you. Biggest worry there, of course, was as you realise if you step out of the alley and back into the sun, Jack, you are starting to see little buds popping through your clothes again. Which, as a passerby, may be passed off as perhaps a rather eccentric decoration to your clothing, but anyone who looks closer, the man, as you push him off, just and heads into the crowd, start keeping his attention on you until the point that he's convinced you lose track of him, which takes a good few moments.
Burton's going to look up at Jack and say, "Thank you for the help. Let's get you out of the sun before you turn into a meadow."
At this point, can I look for a member of the Protectorate in the crowd and then tell them to run with a message that we will be requiring a ship and a small crew?
You spend
and
a
then
moment
we
or
head
two.
to the docks.
You spend a moment or two just kind of picking through the crowd, and actually, it doesn't take you more than a minute before a Protectorate officer heads more or less in your direction. You can see a small, their hand on the baton to their sides, their same crisp blue uniform that identifies them, rather neatly pressed and kept clean of the dirt of the city. A young woman is walking alongside him, pointing down in your direction. As he approaches, he goes from this moment of very much holding himself high, preparing to deal with what he assumes to be some form of attack in the street, to noticing the 8-foot man, and then the two wardens with their badges on display. Before just kind of, you watch him lose the confidence in his step with every few meters. Before he kind of approaches you, pulls off his cap and tucks it under his arm. Wardens?
Hey there, friend.
Hello,
We had
sir.
a bit of an issue, but it's been handled. Thank you kindly for coming by. Great work.
Of course.
Florance.
Yes, we are in need of a ship and a crew. If you could please run and inform Trost that we will be requiring that, and if you could ready that for us soon, as we are now heading to the docks, we would be very grateful.
Of course. Immediately. Which docks should I inform?
We're in dust docks at the moment, aren't we?
Your current? Yes.
Dust docks. Not walking the other side of town to
Is that we can depart from Dusk to Morristown? Okay.
You can.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
And if you could just tell him one more thing and make sure you kind of do it word for word. Like tell him we had a little run in with our friends. They might be asking soon.
You watch as he kind of reaches into his pocket to withdraw a notebook as you give him more specific orders, just scribbles them down. You have that moment where you finish talking and he's still just there like...
No, that's it. It just very specific wording.
At that point, Florance is going to enjoy her looming at at the underlings and just sort of leaning in very slowly, staring until he gets moving.
I'll be right on that. Thank you, sir, ma'am.
Great work.
Sir, Warden. And he just kind of turns in place and very hurriedly marches away. You watch as he kind of gets a good 10-15 feet before the march turns into a brisk jog, which turns into a sprint as he hits the end of the road and just takes off.
That's a good kid.
Florance is just going to giggle to herself. It's an abuse of power, but she loves it.
That's never not going to be funny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Real
Beth.
funny when you know, not how folk used to treat me. All right. So you've heard what we had to say. You've helped us out. We're on good terms now, right? Are you feeling more trusting?
See how far it goes.
All right. Let's go get you a ship.
Heading directly to the docks.
I see no reason to teach.
If there
I mean, it'll take a minute to get it ready, I'm assuming, but we can... I don't know if you got any other leads to follow up on. in the meantime.
I mean, we're definitely not going to be sightseeing.
I would like to, if we can, take some, not necessarily back alleys, but maybe not the main thoroughfare where everyone's going to see our big friend.
I made that assumption that we weren't just going to walk straight down the high
I
street.
play horror games. You verb this.
Yeah.
You let them know.
They're not wrong. That's exactly what I would do if you hadn't said it.
Okay, sorry.
And yeah,
When you
like,
said head straight to the docks, I thought you were like, oh, do you want to go elsewhere before you go to the docks, not take the most direct route?
Oh no,
As
Okay.
fast
very,
as
very precise in wording there.
yeah.
Okay.
No, we're gonna be, as inconspicuous as two wardens and an 8-foot tall flower in person can be.
Yes.
But Burton is gonna kind of look back at Jack, be like, "Sorry, I had to see that. It's not my favorite. You good? You get enough to eat? You hungry? You need anything on the way? I think there's another big and tall shop this way."
No, we'll be all right. Let's just get on the move. I've been stuck in the city for too long.
Do those flowers smell nice? Sorry if it's rude for asking. I'm a farm kid. I appreciate.
No, they are a new development, as in today. So
They're very pretty.
thank you.
Purple is nice color. Good color. Purple.
What is this?
Paying you a compliment.
I just like plants.
Shall we go?
Yeah. Okay.
I would like one of you to make a stealth test, please. This is going to be at, if you want to avoid all notice, difficulty 14.
What is stealth attached to? Because I don't have it.
Cunning. I've got 3 in stealth and 2 in cunning, so 5. Look how good I am at maths now, guys. Isn't it great?
Just for
I've
shits
still
and
got
giggles.
a -3 in cunning.
I got a 0 in cunning.
You're still
So-
better than me, friend.
Just for shits and giggles. Just for shits
Normally,
and giggles.
Florence, I would tell you that for everyone aiding you, you get an additional card to fall and you pick the highest. As no one has a positive modifier in stealth apart from you, you just get your flip.
I just get my flip. Okay, please be good.
Now that said, I'm really good at convincing and leadership, so I could help
Oh no, it's an
send
8.
anyone away.
It's 8 plus 5 is 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 1 short.
Do you
You
have
make
do you
your
have
way-
anything higher in your twist deck?
I have a 10, which would make an 18.
That would be a critical success, but do we need to hang on to it? Or maybe not critical, but it would be a level of.
It would be a level of success. But it's excuse me. It's up to you if you want to use it for this.
My other card is a 5. I kind of want to hang on to the
That's fair.
high one.
No.
A critical.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling whilst we're in Saushert, even if we get noticed a bit,
Not
we
an
can
awful
still
lot they can-
try and pull
I'm
authority
very
rank a little.
charming.
Yeah.
I am big boy.
Let's not.
In
We
which-
don't got to be scaring folk.
No.
Try
we
not
just
to
need to try and stay out of their way as much as
If
possible.
you want to pick some of those flowers and hand them out, I'm sure that'll make you more friends. But
In which case, deciding to try and make yourself as inauspicious is the wrong word then, as unnoticed as physically possible, you double back on yourself and start making your way through, again, back alleys and more obscure routes through town. This involves you actually looping back all the way around to pass via the warehouse district. There's also the small thought in the back of your mind that this should, in theory, give the Protectorate time to actually act on the orders you've given them. As you pass around the corner and spend a good half an hour traveling and actively retracing your own steps again to hopefully throw off any pursuers, you eventually pass by a long open street, and at the far end of it you can see a singularly large corrugated steel warehouse sat at its end. The door at its front has been torn off its hinges, and the only thing that really draws your attention to it, for both Florance and Burton, is when Jack stops in the middle of the street and just glances down at it. You can still see a dent in the roof. You can see the broken window that you hurled something through. And at the base of the door of the warehouse, Jack, you see several bundles of flowers that have been left.
I'm gonna walk over to the flowers. Are they compare them to what's on me?
You break from the road, which both Burton and Florance you immediately notice as he just turns and starts heading away. You lean down, Jack, and the flowers themselves are completely different to your own. They are just bundles of varied flowers, and left tied up next to them are small notes and little pictures and keepsakes. The notes vary, but read simply in, "We won't forget you. We're sorry. We just wanted to see you one more time."
Just gonna pick one of my own flowers and leave it there.
You pluck one of them out, and as you do, you kind of reach down, pluck, and there's a short but fairly minute, sudden sharp burst of pain as you separate the stem from your own body.
Sorry, plant inside of me, but it pays to be respectful.
You place the flower down the pile, and it just sits at the base of these myriad of different cuttings. You hear a voice nearby from a fairly an older lady, who up until this point you hadn't noticed, as she'd just been sat on a bench, kind of obscured by the turning off to the right of this building. "Are you okay there, young man?"
Yeah, I'll be alright. It's been a crazy few weeks, but hopefully it'll all work out in the end, right?
"That is the martyr's plan, we hope."
Fingers crossed.
She nods at the flowers. "Did you lose someone?" Horrible thing.
Yeah. Did you lose someone?
Yes, my son. He had been out fishing the night before, and he just never came home. She kind of picks herself up from the bench and very shakily makes her way over to you. Florance, Burton, I assume at this point you may have followed? It's completely up to you.
Burton would have followed and kind of stayed on his heels and started to say and then kind of took it all in and shut up and just kind of stood back respectfully, given some space.
The woman comes a little bit closer, and as I said, it is very, very shaky. The more you kind of hold your gaze on her, you realize that the walking stick she has, she's actually tapping in front of her with every step. And she kind of gets close and comes to the point where the walking stick just taps into your foot, and she just stops. And with her other hand, just reaches out and just kind of places it, after a couple of smallest attempts, on your shoulder. "It's okay. Sometimes the world takes, but that's why we're here, to give back and reintroduce something into the lots. My son was a good man, but his children, they will live on through and do right by him. In the end, I will see him again when the light claims me as well. And the same is true for whomever it may be that you lost. You will see them again, young man."
Thank you. And I hope times become easier. Because I'm sorry. I wish it could be. I wish this never happened.
We all do. Feel kind of this weight in her voice start to shiver. But this is the way of it now, and to deny it is to deny who we are and the realities. He was a good man. He was a good father. I'm sure the same similar can be said for yours. But the monsters that did this will be brought to justice. And there will be a balance again. But for the sake of those who cannot, we go on, she says with a small smile pushing past her lips. And she kind of slaps her hand on your shoulder. Oh, well, you seem a nice, strong young man anyway. I'm sure you could carry this weight too.
You're a lot stronger than me. It's
Not at all. Just older and a bit wiser.
You're one of the best of us. I can tell that by now.
I wouldn't go that far, young man. Now, don't sit around, listen to me gibber on, because I'll never let you walk away. On your feet, one in front of the other. Keep going. I'm going to go and rest my bones and spend a bit more time in the sun.
That sounds like a good plan. Be safe.
We have the martyr for that, my boy. And with that, she kind of starts tapping again to the side and starting to kind of make her way back to her chair.
I'll walk away and catch up with the others.
Florance isn't very good with emotions and whatnot, so she's just going to sort of look at Jack and go, mm-hmm, and then just like pat him on the shoulder. It comes from a good place, but she's not very good with this sort of thing.
There.
Yeah.
Burton will
Not quite that robotic. Pull yourself together, man.
hurts her own hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes the martyr sends us exactly what we need. I hope you'll tell us what really happened here in the right time, in the right place, which is not here.
Yeah, I mean, when we're on the boat and on our way, I'll give you the full rundown.
And hey, I know it don't mean much really, but I'm sorry for your loss, whatever it was.
It's not what I lost, it's what I took away.
Now that's a heavy burden. Come on.
We've got a boat to catch.
However heavy that burden, I don't think it'll sink the ship, so.
There's no point in wasting time. Let's move.
With that, you turn your back to the warehouse and start to walk back the way you came. It only takes a few steps, Jack, for your throat to start to hurt. You just get this itching feeling running around the interior of your throat and up the sides of the inside of your mouth. You can feel something as if it was scraping past your teeth, just urging to crawl back out. And even as you just kind of reach up, there's nothing there. Just the sensation of an old wound.
Just gonna rub the cheek with that's all knitted together with plant matter.
What?
Mm.
You all right?
Yeah, just phantom pains.
Get on the boat and I can take a look at it. I'm not a healer, but farm kid.
We've probably got something for it.
With that, you begin to loop your way back around the city. Again, keeping to back alleys and trying to remain out of notice as best you can. In again about half an hour, if not slightly more, as the day begins to eke on, you enter early afternoon. The dusk clocks come into view. You can see the rather busy nature of them has been somewhat revitalized over the last couple of days. But even in traveling here, you've had to pass through the residential area that was so badly affected by the fire set again only several days prior to that. You walk past the burnt out ruins of family homes. You can smell the ash even in the distance. And even walking through, you can see Protectorate's guard and well-meaning civilians picking through the rubble, trying to claw back what may have been lost within. You see an instance of a set of parents stood by a building, the father openly weeping into, well, her father, as dictated by the small child, sat just next to the rubble, poking at it, as their father weeps openly into the shoulder of their mother, who reaches past him to comfort that child as she just kind of pokes at the rubble with a stick. You pass through that, down an alleyway that runs by a series of stores, where there's just an odd scent to the air, as if recently cleaned ammonia leach running through the rubble, as people still try to put their lives together within it. At one point, you walk past a small opening to an alleyway where you can still see blood staining the wall. The signs of someone either having bled out or been murdered on the cobbles, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from a small bakery and a coffee shop. Jack. Can you make... This is going to be a weird little test for you.
Alright.
Can you make a husbandry test for me, please?
A husbandry test. I have husbandry.
This is going to be difficulty 10.
Okay. Got +2 to it, so let's have a gander. Oh, that's only 7. But you know what? You
Is there
have
any way I can help?
Unfortunately not.
You've perked my curiosity enough to spend a 10 on it.
Okay.
You've perked my curiosity.
You continue down this alleyway, and as you reach that gap where you can see the blood-stained cobbles, you think you hear something just down the twisted alley next to it. A whimper. Sounds like from a distance, you think you hear a dog. And again, it just causes you to stop as you swear you recognize the sound. both Burton and Florance.
Alright.
Again, you notice him stop. And as he's looking around, you also hear it. Just down the alleyway, the sound of a whimpering animal.
I'm going. I'm creeping over to have a look. Not stealth, but just gonna make it obvious to my armed escort that I'm gonna walk over here for a
So
minute.
I'm curious too, so I'm going to follow.
Cat.
It's not one of those. You twist around the corner and into the alleyway that leads down between these two buildings. There are crates and barrels and various goods and sundries piled up, but at the end you see a small box that's been knocked over and rather repeatedly chewed on, to the point where the wood has given way and a few apples have rolled out. And just following the sound, you can hear a low, wounded whimpering. You twist a corner and hidden just in a crook behind the building, nestled in under a small broken fence with the ruins of a half-chewed, attempted attack at an apple, is a wolfhound. Is Bismarck.
Let's go!
Immediately, you recognize Cecily's dog. As you approach, the whimpering only increases as he pulls back deeper into the recesses of London fence, his eyes wounded and clearly scared.
I'm
You
gonna
can
take.
see. Go for it.
Oh god, what do I actually have on? I forgot. I don't have any hood on me, do I? Yeah. God, I'm just that fucked up. They don't recognize me anymore. Shit.
Would he recognize what you smell like? Surely, because he's a dog.
Well, if your scent has changed,
Oh, yeah, from being in a
because of
sewer.
the rock and plant.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably fucking reek.
Can I try and tempt him out with some food?
You definitely can. Again, we'll call this a husbandry check at difficulty 10.
Okay. I have a husbandry of 1 and
I
a charm.
will allow you to work together on this.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So I got +2. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I have a husbandry of 1 and a charm of +3.
oh my god, everybody's got the husbandry.
We like animals.
I'm a farm kid.
Yeah. So
I have
Well-
0 charm though.
I have charm.
Minus
No.
7.
Yeah. Let's just go with
Accurate.
let's just go no. Just put a no.
Well, any one of you can lead the check and you'll get 2 additional cards because everyone is helping you.
Okay.
I do.
Kay does not interact with dogs, so one of y'all have to lead, but I will assist.
I'll roll.
Not narratively, I
Okay.
do not interact.
I'll roll
Jake-
them bones.
Cool.
Okay. So 7 and 2 other cards. You say
Yeah, so flip 2 more.
7, a 13, and a 2. So we'll go with the 13. I think.
Yeah,
With-
I don't blame you.
Yeah. I think we'll go with that. I think we'll go with that one.
You lower down and just kind of open your palms towards Bismarck, trying to calm him to the best of your ability. His fear of you turns to not aggression, but a very half-hearted snarl. You can see him starting to part his jowls to bare teeth at you, but he just
Come.
seemingly doesn't have the strength anymore.
Bismarck, come on, it's me. I can't be that fucked up, mate. Come on.
As you whisper his name, his face just softens slightly as he begins to very clearly recognize your voice, if nothing else.
Yes.
Which is when, Florance, you can offer any small scraps of food you carry, anything you particularly feel you would be carrying on you.
They would probably have some beef jerky, which
Yeah.
goes down well with doggos.
You draw a piece of jerky out and just lean down, offer it out alongside Jack, and slowly, cautiously, the paw extends and Bismarck kind of makes his way out, bringing himself up to his full height. As I say, this is a wolfhound. It is not a small dog by any stretch of the imagination. And as he kind of pulls himself up fully, he stands about level with Florance as you kneel down. There's a weakness to his movements, and he kind of limps forward with each slow, purposeful sniff towards the jerky until his jaws just slowly open, takes it very gently from your hand before dropping it to the floor and hungrily and quickly devouring it down.
And Florance is just going to be like, oh, he's a good boy.
Terrible with people. Animals, though. Yes.
Yes. Animals don't ask stupid questions.
I don't have food, but I can make an apple easier to eat by just sort of smush, sort of grind it up a bit into little chunks and just sort of have it in them.
Ease, you just snatch up an apple and reduce it to apple sauce in your hands, crushing it away. And you also do become aware as you do it that you can feel small pinpricks of something moving through your palm into the now mush in your hand.
Oh no.
And just pulling it back in.
Can I see this? Can I see
Yeah.
this?
It's an odd feeling. But Bismarck doesn't notice as he moves forward and just takes great laps of it from your hands.
I'm assuming, like, can I find like a divot in the cobblestones or something and then just like pour water from my canteen so he has a drink and that kind of a thing? Just gain the trust of the doggo.
You spend a few more minutes just checking the dog over, making sure he has food, is eaten, and it doesn't take too much longer for you to get to the point where Bismarck looks at Jack as if he had never not been around you. Same softness to the eyes and this all-encompassing trust.
Try as gently as I can, scratches behind the ear.
You just reach out,
Hey, buddy.
scratch behind the ear, just twist along with it.
It's been a shit few days, hasn't it?
The dog looks at you
Yeah.
and just, in the way that they do, kind of shakes himself off and tries to hold himself as tall as he can.
What's wrong with you then? Come on, let's have a look. Oh, I'm gonna go and check it.
Mostly, it just looks as if he sustained an injury at some point in the recent past and has just not really been treated for it. Seems to be naturally healing. It's more just for weakness at the moment.
Right. Just need to keep it fed. Just need to keep him fed.
But as you kind of stand up, he moves to your side and seems eager to move on.
Okay. So where is she, buddy? Where is she, buddy?
The dog just looks at you.
Oh, I'm just gonna put my hands on. Kind of thinking of the scale here.
You have to go down quite a lot.
Yeah.
Even as tall as the dog is.
really come down onto one knee and just put sort of my hand on behind the ear and just It's okay, buddy.
After a couple more moments, it seems you get the implication that that Bismarck will just exist with you for a while.
So, 3 of us didn't make it out because she wouldn't leave you behind.
The two of you know, both Florance and Burton, are aware that at least 3 of the wanted criminals were executed by Canehurst in this street. Just knowledge you would have.
Mm-hmm.
To the rest of the crew.
It is also just at the end of the street where the dock that contains your ship should lie.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, you'd be useful. We got the rest of the gang to find.
With your new companion, you continue to walk. You make your way further down the street. Yeah.
I'm carrying him.
You pick the dog up like a cat or a child or anything else.
Dog.
Yeah. And begin to just stroll further along. There you go. And you kind of, after a few more minutes, you pass through the street down by the end. One of you, thankfully unaware of everything that happened on the street mere nights before, into the open kind of marketplace that sits on the Dusk Docks itself. And layer upon layer upon layer of jetties run along its edge, and you can see innumerable ships across it. From one of them, thankfully just over on the far right, closer to your position, you see a flag that hangs, just this light blue of a open palm behind the symbol of Chalice, the Protectorate. And no, if your ship should be anywhere, it would be there. Unless you have anything else you'd rather do, I'll assume you head straight there.
Are we okay?
Discreetly straight.
Discreetly.
Discreetly straight.
Yeah.
Stealth straight.
Just
Asexual straight.
how long is the journey from here to Morristown? Do we need supplies? Will they already be on the ship? Do we need snacks? Do I need to do a snack run?
I mean, the answer to that is always yes.
Always yes.
Okay.
You don't really have an exact knowledge of how far away it would be. You would be kind of guessworking it at best. You know Morristown exists, you know roughly where it is, but exact days trip, it's harder to guess. Pardon me.
If we sent word ahead, they should have the ship ready. Like, they're not going to set sail without their supplies.
We know where
That's
they
the
go.
assumption you would make.
Okay, that's. Do you want me to do a snack run?
I got whiskey, but that's...
I'll get some snacks.
And
some dog food.
Get some hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, what I might do is, if Burton and Jack, because I think they have the better rapport, if they head towards the ship, I will just scurry around the market, grab a few bits and bobs, and then meet them on the ship.
I feel like I have the worst rapport.
Really? I thought you and Burton got along much better than me and you were getting along.
I was just talking with everyone else.
Oh, no.
I mean, most folk like me, except for that Inquisition.
Everyone gets on with
But
Burton,
I did give him
trust
a good reason to not like it.
Yeah.
With that, then, Burton and Jack, you make your way towards the ship again, just skirting on the skirting around the edges of the crowds before looping back towards the docks themselves, passing through a very, very small checkpoint where a single man rather lazily kind of leans on his little kind of guard post, glances up to see you approaching, doesn't move, glances again, realizes who you are, and snaps to attention.
Looking sharp there.
Yes, of course. Warden?
I hope you're having a good day. We'll be on our way.
Of course, your ship has been prepared. You have a small schooner. It's prepared with crew for you and supplies to take you to, I believe, Morristown was the destination.
They will look up at Jack and look back and say, I hope not too small.
It should be sizable. We were informed of the size of your passenger.
Brilliant. Thank you kindly.
You are more than welcome. The ship should be ready to depart within the next 2 hours. Over that, he just kind of nods and pretends as if he was stood there at attention for the entire day.
Burton will stand just a little longer than they need to. Just and then spion.
You definitely get the impression he stood there staring straight ahead as if he's meant to, and just occasionally just a little.
It's not too long, but it's kind of that like playful ribbing of like, I saw, all right.
Just like, yes, I guess it, I'm the underling.
You make
I
your way
just sneak up behind him and go, boo.
We're terrors.
We are horrible to these people. They're just trying to make an honest living. They're just trying to make an honest living.
You make your way.
It's fine.
He's very nice. But he knows what he did.
Are very, very quickly introduced to the crew, or more precisely, the ship's captain. Got this written down. My goodness, I even thought. I know. A Sergeant Forcell.
Sergeant what now?
Forcell.
For sale, right?
Yeah, I mean, that also works.
Because he is for sale.
Or at least his services are.
Yeah. Ba-boom.
He quickly leads you around the ship and shows you to your quarters. Originally, there is the captain's quarters, which is what he's supposed would be handed over to the wardens in charge, although after meeting you, he does somewhat suggest perhaps on a purely logistical standpoint, may be best for your guests to stay within those quarters. The rest of the crew will stay down in the bunks, and we have cleared out one of the storage rooms and made it slightly more appealing for yourselves, or whomever you choose to stay there. We have
Jack. Look at that! You got upgraded to first class.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Sorry for the inconvenience. This is a weird fucking stay. Ooh, boy.
Not at all, sir.
Just roll with it.
The sergeant just snaps to attention and gives you a salute.
How many days travel? How long we gonna be going?
Morristown is 3 days' journeys.
3 days. Great.
Provided we do not have any turbulent weather, it should be a relatively straight shot.
We expecting weather?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right. Looking at this, you said it was a Derringer that I took off of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
It's probably better than the Chesterfield that I got.
It's okay. It is technically a gun.
I mean, so is my other. All right, so
Yeah.
It is technically a gun, also known as a glorified catapult.
Hit
Burton
someone
would
with it.
know this. Kay does not. Florence
So
doesn't use firearms at all, do they? Does she?
I have a bow and arrow.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a knife.
I've got
Right.
So-
So that was.
These are
So
my
no.
guns.
Yeah. Derringer would be normally described as a gun literally no larger than your palm,
Mhm.
with a trigger about the size of a thumbnail.
Okay.
It carries an incredibly small barrel, or it is a very, very small barreled gun, and
All right.
it's not there to kill people, it's there to give you a sudden advantage.
All right. So I'll keep my Chesterfield. Since we're a little bit off from shoving off, Burton will hold out that Derringer that they took off first. Be like, you do me a solid. Can you trade this in for 2 knives? I need a boot knife. My partner needs, if we're on a ship, we got to cut rope. I don't know all that much about sailing, but I know if you're on a ship, you got to cut rope.
The sergeant looks at the Derringer in your hand, just reaches over, unbuttons his jacket, pulls it open, and withdraws from a selection of 3 sailor's knives strapped to his belt. Just draws 2 out, unclips the holsters, reattaches them, and hands them to you.
Thank you,
For your
Captain.
service.
Much appreciated. I got one more coming. She'll be by. She had pick up snacks. You know the important snack run. We weren't supposed to bring oranges or nothing, were we?
Nope, we have a full supplement of citrus on board.
Brilliant. Anything you need from us?
Not at all, unless your destination has changed from what you informed us.
Looks up, Jack.
Morristown.
Understood, sir. One minor fact, we did not account for a dog on board, so we will make it work. Just wanted to inform you.
It was an unexpected last-minute addition. I believe Florance, my counterpart's out picking up some dog chow, so you don't got to worry about that.
Wonderful. In which case, I will leave you to settle in, please. There's a full bar within the captain's quarters. Enjoy. I will inform you when we are leaving. And with that, he simply salutes once again, inclines his head, twists in place, and marches off. His entire demeanor immediately burning away as he unleashes a torrent of abuse at the nearby deckhand, who, as far as he's concerned, has been swabbing wrong for his entire life and should at least swallow that mop to make up for his discretion or try again.
I sure don't miss folks speaking to me like that.
Sorry, I heard full bar.
I mean, you turned down my flask earlier, but I'll join you in a. I'm sure Florance wouldn't judge us if we started without her. We'd just save her a nip, yeah?
Yeah, just what's a little bit gonna hurt? Yeah.
Burton. I see. Burton isn't the most observant of individuals, but I feel like they're probably picking up a little bit of urgency to this.
Don't deny me this.
And with that, you swing open the doors to the captain's quarters and step inside. And at that particular moment, we're going to go on a very short break. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes to continue on to see exactly what wonderful snacks Florance has brought back for everyone.
I want a full list.
Full list of
Right.
snacks.
Yeah, full list of snacks.
Hold
Do
with
Mars
us.
bars exist in this world?
No, Jupiter bars though, all over
Hey.
the place. We will see you all in 5 to 10 minutes. Stick with us. Hello again, welcome back. Thank you very much for sticking with us over the break. No bad decisions were made while the cameras were not rolling, I promise.
No, absolutely not.
None whatsoever.
I don't
This group
promise.
doesn't make bad decisions.
No, not at all. All is good. All is well. How are you? Right.
Send someone over to check that out.
No better than to answer that question.
That's the next line, isn't it? That's the next line, isn't it?
In pain.
Something.
Right. We return back to the now formerly christened ship, the Biscuit. And we find ourselves back in the captain's quarters with a bottle opened on a small red table, 2 chairs pulled up on either side. Well, 2 chairs on one side, 1 chair on the other, as Jack has had to lower himself to 2. His
At
bulk,
this point, I feel like I should just sit on the floor.
you would still reach the top of the table.
I'll just sit on the floor.
Yep. You place yourself down, Burton. You're quite happily perched on the small chair next to the table, 2 glasses laid out in front of you, and a fine Auburn bottle of whiskey open between the 2 of you.
This looks kind of stupid.
What does?
I'm sitting on the floor, I'm still quite comfortably at the table. This is getting stupid.
I mean, can't help it if you're big.
I just try to shed some. I was always tall, but reasonable person tall. I mean, you've probably seen the wanted photos. I never looked like this. This is recent.
I was gonna say it. I'm not always the most observant, but it does seem like this is a newer thing for you.
Yeah, I don't know. This is.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't met too many channelers who weren't born with the ability. Do you know what set you off?
I know I wasn't born this way, and I can tell you what I know, which is ultimately jack shit.
I don't need your shit, but thanks.
You're welcome. Get memory flashes. How reliable they are is debatable. I mean, all I know is that 1 minute I'm just a guy, and the next thing I know, I'm in what I can assume is a lab. There's inquisitors burning and killing things, and I'm running.
Have I heard any stories of people, like how people became channelers after not being one at birth?
No, not at all. Every piece of information you have, is you're either born with it or you're not.
Burton is just gonna look you over again and just heave a really big sigh. I know I keep saying this, but you are just fascinating.
Sure.
You seem like a right decent fella too.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
I mean, I feel like that's true for most of us.
You ask me, I've kind of gone down a road. I'm not a great person anymore. Not because of this, but because of what I've had to do to avoid this. I probably wasn't even a wound. Sorry, I'm just mumbling to myself. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Oh.
Nice thing about roads is you can backtrack or wander back. Future's up to you.
There's footsteps outside as Florance, you return from your trip.
Burton will hear the footsteps, hear the door open, not even look away, glass of whiskey in hand, and just hold up one of the knives.
Florance is going to just say, I love you for this, and take the knife, grab a chair, sit down, and then just throw snackage on the table,
Pours a glass, slides it over.
Yes. And she's got both dog food, but also a tasty bone for Bismarck that she's just going to give to the dog. And she's going to sit, feel smug, and take a sip of the whiskey.
So we got the rent of captain's quarters, but I think our friend here is going to take them. We got a storage room they cleaned out and fancied up a bit. Hope you don't mind sharing.
Fine by me. I've slept in worse places.
The interior of the room you're in is quite, even though it is the captain's quarters, it's still rather Spartan. It's named as such due to a large table that sits in the center and a small one that you're currently kind of perched on or next to in some respects, and a large bed excuse me, at the far side just by the windows that lead out to the rear of the ship. There's also a large number of shelves with various books, mostly based around lore, and a map of the area. More precisely, you can see all of the waterways of Saushert, a large group kind of map of the inner sea and the settlements that dot around it, and even in one case within it, as you can see, Mentgoin Island, the kind of rather large tobacco plantation that sits on the far end in the center. And as you just kind of drink all of that in, as you came in, Florance, you just naturally let the door close behind you again, and you hear footsteps once again coming up towards it. There is a knock at the door.
I go and open the door.
You pick yourself up, glass still in hand. That was a question rather than an immediate.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were like,
Yeah.
I stand up, I take my drink with me. I'll leave the drink on the table.
You just place the drink down, pick yourself up, wander over, swing the door open, and directly in front of you stood a good head, if not more, taller, looking straight down. His hair tied back behind his neck, tied behind his head in a short ponytail. A series of small cups running across his face, and a heavy Inquisition robe on his form. A silver mask clutched under his arm stands Canehurst.
Nope. Nope.
Burton gonna stand and just put himself between Jack
No, I'm
and
bugging the fuck out.
The man simply stands there, his eyes locked with yours, Florance. You know full well from the position it is impossible for him to not see the others in the room. His sword is strapped to his waist. The pistol on the other side. You notice that the scabbard for his sword is already unclipped. Good afternoon.
Visitor? Sir?
May I come in?
I'd rather you didn't. What brings you here?
My quarry. At which point he turns from you and pushes all of his attention towards Jack.
That's interesting, because I was told we was put in charge of this by agreement with your division.
This is our investigation.
I'm glad to see your investigation includes harboring criminal elements. At this point, he just steps through you. There is a definitive strength to his movement. He kind of angles himself so he does move past you. The door behind him remains open, and on the deck you can make out 4 more people, each in inquisitorial garb, dressed with a specific flair to it. You see a bold man with a rather eccentric moustache and large gauntlets just clasped around his arms, glancing over the side of the ship. A young woman, mostly in red, with a crossbow strapped to her side. Another fairly slim-looking man with what is definitively a man catcher held in his hands, the barbed spikes of it glinting in the sunlight. And at their back, a fairly aged looking chap who genuinely just looks out of place, is the only way you can describe it.
As we came on the ship and were being given the tour, would I have seen any other similar vessels?
It's a rather large dock. You saw 2 or 3 other protectorate ships next to it, so they're definitely there.
I think you should just hold it right there, kindly. And Burton's not going to put a hand inside their jacket. Not going to do anything else yet.
Perhaps.
I'm assuming he's gone past me, right?
He's now just stood in the middle of the room. He has his back to you in a either clear demonstration that he doesn't care that you're behind him, or he doesn't worry him. Instead, his attention is very squarely clicked onto Jack, who I'm imagining at this point, as you were sat on the floor, possibly kind of leaning back on your arm, ready to try it to stand.
Yeah, I wanna do this.
Don't gotta go to violence.
No. It might be your quarry, but this is our investigation. This is our jurisdiction.
Agreed upon by all sides.
Mm-hmm.
And do tell me exactly why you have this thing with you.
I'd be very happy to tell you in my official report.
He just breathes deeply. That man is a murderer.
So am I, according to some.
Same. As are you, I would imagine, Inquisitor.
Innocence. 124 innocents have died within the last 3 weeks due to the action of that man, his companions. Men, women, children.
And I'm sure you're going to be mighty pleased that he's going to be on a ship and well away from all those innocents.
He is currently sat in the floor of a protectorate vessel, drinking whiskey.
Glad your eyes are working.
I'm going to try very hard not to do that, like giggle behind Kanehurst's back.
Oh my god, you fucking die!
Why?
I understand. I know our assignment. I promise you, we're not doing anything underhanded. You can go speak to our boss. But I suggest you leave us to our work respectfully.
Respectfully, Warden. In the case of dangerous channelers, I have the ability to overcome all jurisdiction. And when I say dangerous channelers, I speak of more than just the one sat on the floor in this room.
Well, I get the feeling if you want to know where the rest of those are, you're going to need the one sat on the floor in this room, and I feel like he'd rather talk to us than you, so,
Is that true? And he turns his attention directly on Jack. Who would you rather speak to? Where are they?
sure seems like he don't want to speak to you.
Nope.
He takes a step towards you, Jack.
Burton puts themselves directly in front. Final warning, friend.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks down at you.
Hmm?
Warden, remember your place,
Oh, I ain't forgotten.
because I will warn you now. If you place yourself between me and a threat to the people of Chalice, I will treat you as a threat to the people of Chalice, and I will remove you.
Understood loud and clear. I ain't moving.
I'm going to stand beside. Well, actually, no, I'm going to step closer to Kanehurst and say, this is intimidation of the Wardens, of a witness that's under our protection. It would be best for you to leave.
He just turns over his shoulder to look at you. And just holds his gaze on you for a moment.
Really tempted to just go.
His hand goes back down to the scabbard and he clicks it into place. Well, if the Wardens think they have this in hand, I will leave you to your work.
Thank you kindly for your trust.
He takes a step off and withdraws. They again just kind of moves the helmet from under one arm to the other. He does start to walk out before he stops at the door. I'm glad the dog found another owner. It was loyal to the end. As he just steps out of the door and onto the deck and starts to make his way off the ship.
Burton's gonna hang in the door, wait until the moment they're all off the ship, and then is the captain anywhere in sight?
You watch the rest of them kind of filter out, and as they do, you see Porcel just kind of stood at the far end, holding himself at attention and just kind of collapse into himself, take a deep breath, and look over at you.
We shove off ASAP.
Aye, aye.
Thank you kindly. And Burton's gonna turn back to the room and pull out that little tube of the exploding foam balls. I was really hoping I'd get to use this. Had enough for each of them. We could have just jumped on the next ship. This is probably better. We're gonna get a hell of a ride up. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna very hurriedly walk back to the table, sit down, and just down my drink.
As you both look over at Jack, you realize all of the stone on his face is gone.
What happened to it? Where did it go?
Alcohol.
Ah,
Yeah, Burton closes the door, and they've been, very calm, and then kind of suddenly like, all right, yeah, that was a lot.
yeah.
Drink up. Big. I'm gonna walk over next to Jack, who.
The thing's gone. The bottle's gone.
That's all right. Florance will get up and start digging for more, and then come for eat some snacks.
Yeah, I reckon someone big as you, that bottle's probably not going. But do pace yourself. Are you all right?
As you're talking, just so you're aware, the stones are starting to just push back through the skin. And it is very much as if scales that retract. You just watch small slits start to break on the skin of his face, and the small pieces of stone building up, pushing through them. And it's underneath, you can see this mass of vines and small flecks of green that are forcing them back out to cover the skin, more like an exoskeleton than anything else.
Burton can't help himself. They just lean in just a little bit closer, just fascinated. Some of the shakes suddenly forgotten.
It's not there. Jack's not there. It's on like sort of on that edge of. Oh God, that might be.
Hey! Oh, hey! You with me? He's gone. We're shoving off right now.
We are leaving. We're putting some distance. Hopefully we won't
You
see
need
him
some
again,
air?
but
You
who
want me
knows
to
for
open
sure.
that door?
It's a big number. It's a big number. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell.
You okay there, friend?
Thanks, Chaos.
Burton's gonna go get some water and just give him some water to. He's not eaten or drank a lot, and then binged, and then just down an entire thing of whiskey. This could go very nasty. I'm just gonna here drink.
I'm
this.
going to be at sea.
Come back.
There's a lot of bouncing.
I am going to have to ask Jack to make a carouse check, please. Difficulty. It was only one entire bottle of whiskey in about 10 seconds.
Oh, I fail.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an 8-foot tall Hulk, though.
Yeah.
Like, that
Right?
metabolism's... Yeah.
I'm sure
It's
some of
like
those
nothing.
plants
It's like
absorbed it.
Ribena to him.
Oh no. Alright, fuck it. Yeah, let's flip this. What was it? Corral? What's
Carouse.
carouse?
Yep. Which is resilience.
Oh, I got +4 in carouse. Look at that.
Hey.
Look at me go.
Really want whiskey now.
9.
I know.
9.
Yeah.
Oh, show off, Ben. Mine's downstairs. It's not within easy reach.
This is just one of the 3 bottles within easy reach.
And
I
you
don't
go
have
for
a
Jack
problem.
Daniels.
It's the
I
closest.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's-
I don't have a
Minute.
problem.
We went
You
from
have a
jealous
problem.
to judgy in no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'd rather have
Damn.
more whiskey than JD.
My house to sky is on the other side. Unfortunately, the bottle does nothing. You process it almost as quickly as you drink it. Not so much to the point of needing to, well, pass it from your system, but it is redistributed.
I am not drunk.
Do you want to be?
The alcohol doesn't touch the sensation, and you hear the number again, etched into the back of your mind. 124. The shout goes off from the deck as you hear Forcell bellow out at the crew. Push off! To Morristown! The shouting continues, you hear him again. And if I see one of you slow down again, I will fling your asses off of this ship myself. And then I will throw a goddamn rock at you before you even sink. A couple of seconds later, there's a very polite rap at the door, which he then slides open. We're on the way.
Excellent.
Appreciate your being so speedy.
We were given justifiable provocation. I have... Mhm.
I know I'm new here, but seems like you sure got a pretty great crew.
They have the potential. We just need to iron out a few creases. But their hearts are in the right place. Johnson is going to be watching the rear to make sure we're not followed.
Excellent.
And if
That
so,
would-
we will inform you.
Thank you.
Appreciate.
Did they ask you for any other information when they came aboard?
Just our destination. I'm afraid rank dictated that I did offer that information.
That's fine.
Understandable.
Yeah.
At which point he just, again, nods his head, salutes, and steps back out, sliding the door closed for you.
I'm just gonna say, thank you, Captain, as he goes. Oh, I should have offered him a snack.
There's plenty of time. 3 days on this thing.
Yeah, food. It's okay. Oh.
Does that... Burton can't help themselves. They look back at Jack and they're like, does that hurt?
Huh?
When it comes out, does it hurt?
What comes out?
You don't even know. Burton's just gonna sit down in a chair and just...
What's going on? Are you flirting with me?
Do you want me to be flirting with you?
Not particularly.
Okay, then no. I wasn't. I just... Look, you... When he came in, you, your rocky exterior receded. But it's coming back now. You really don't even know you're doing it?
I mean, before it was, turn it on and off thing with degrees of success on demand, but it just sort of does it by itself now. It's a bit weird.
I'm an elementalist. I wonder if I could maybe help you figure some of this out?
That's a
You're
word.
interested.
Never heard of that word before. Well, I saw it in a book, but I don't know what it means.
I'm not like on a scale of channelers. I'm like real. I can't do too much, but I can put bits of magic in things.
Okay.
Mostly elements, and a lot of what you're doing is nature is one of my specialties, and I don't know, maybe I could...
I got vines in me. I didn't have that.
I know, it's real fascinating. I've been trying to not get weird about it, but it's like... I don't...
Am I like... wonder if you like cut me open, there'd be like a botanical garden. I'm doing anything to fucking...
I don't think we got...
Am I a botanical garden?
Do you want to be a botanical garden?
I mean, I was kind of comfortable just being me, but...
There are worse things to be than a botanical garden.
I guess.
Look,
I will tell you now, Burton knows what she's doing, that they're doing, so, you're in good hands with them.
Sure, this was weird enough. Let's get weirder. What the fuck? What do you want to do?
Not right now. You need to take a breath. Collect yourself, because that was a lot. I don't...
It's cool. Oh, good.
So,
All right.
how long have... So you say the stone thing you used to be able to turn on and off at will. What about the flowers? What about the vines? When did they start?
So after the warehouse, which is a story in and of itself, my friend shot me through the cheek, and I'll just sort of just push against that viney patch.
As the skin isn't quite covered by the stone again yet, what Jack pokes at is where you can see the skin has basically very clearly been torn apart quite aggressively, and now instead of skin and flesh, this is a lattice of vines that are just wrapped over one another and holding it in place. As he talks, it actively moves apart and pulls back together, even exposing small gaps in between the structure.
Do you...
I'll poke it.
I don't want to poke it, but do you mind if I try something?
Go on.
I'm not much of a healer, but I'd like to just try and see what...
Yeah, why not? I mean,
But yeah, I would like to cast Heal on this.
Greenhurst is fucking following me. There's not much worse that could be happening.
What I will say is we can shuffle up the deck and everyone can draw another card from their twist deck.
Yeah. I shuffle. Oh, big number. Yes.
I got one.
Big thank you to the birthday boy behind the scenes who shuffled the deck for us. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you much, Lee.
Yeah.
So that is going to require a 7 of rams, and I'm going to click the thing. That's an 11 of tomes, but I do have 10
Do
of
the thing.
rams. So, and then I get to add enchantment would be a +3, and then my charm is another +3. So that is a 10 + 6. So that should
Easily do it.
Critical success.
Yeah.
Nice.
You reach out, and
do
this
I
isn't
see?
so much about determining how much you heal. So we'll skip by that step. But you place your hand out. First and foremost, how do you manifest your healing?
So yeah, I don't actually have to touch. I can do this from a yard away. So Burton doesn't get overly close, but their hand, and again, this outside of when they're speaking, their magic is always this beautiful kind of verdant green. You almost get when you cast, it's an ozone smell usually when you cast, right? Or is it iron? Ozone. There's like the ozone scent of magic, but then there's also just this like hint of spring country breeze. Like it's this very natural thing. And you do see them reach again for this into their pocket and pull out this pocket watch, and they like click the buttons on it a couple times. There's just a few too many hands on the dial. And then you watch this green magic come out of their hand and just almost drift into the wounds.
Florance is like slightly tipsy now, so she's got her elbows on the desk and a chin in her hand. She's like, "It's so pretty when you do that."
Rather fond of it. Thank you.
That green mist just worms its way in between the lattice and starts to settle upon the skin. And immediately you see what would normally happen to yourself is the skin would slowly regrow, reknit, and piece itself back together. In this instance, you watch as there is a bloom. Immediately, several of the vines begin to bud, and you watch small flowers start to appear upon the side until they start to kind of lace the left-hand side of Jack's face, mixing in with the hair of his beard that plays around the edges of the scarred flesh. And beginning at the start, of course, it's a rather beautiful, verdant display. And then a moment passes, and you watch as the vines start to spread.
Oh, fuck.
They begin to actually worm their way beyond the lattice and pierce through the skin here and there, and start to literally overtake his skin.
Do I feel
slowly
this?
ripping in. Yes.
Ah!
What's worrying is it doesn't hurt. It's actually a rather pleasant sensation, as if someone was scratching an itch you didn't know you had. The vines just elegantly, slowly, deliberately pierce through the skin and knit. It's only when the spell, as it normally would, kind of loses its strength that they begin to slow and stop. By the time it's done, a further inch in every direction of his face has been overtaken by vine.
Was that meant to happen?
What happened? I mean, it's kind of on my face, so I can't see it.
That's never happened. Well, that hole is gone. That's good news.
It's just very green now.
Feels like there's a flower there.
There's a few.
Yeah, you have a pretty face.
Yeah,
Are you flying with me now?
No. No, the flowers are pretty. Pretty flowers. Face.
As you see kind of Jack bring his hand up towards the poppies, they begin to shiver and just react to his touch. They reach out and touch just the tips of his fingers, and of course Jack feel this. The vines around continue to stretch and mold as if literally reaching to just hold his hand,
Okay.
but only ever just the tips of the fingers, as they don't choose to kind of pull away too far. And just in the back of your head, Jack, there's this whispering, this distant, almost inaudible sound of hundreds of thousands of voices layered on top of one another, of quiet sounds like a lover whispering to you deep into the night. It's a familiarly close, intimate sound. And it seems to just have this cool touch at the back of your neck and over your mind. It's comforting. And then, as you pull your fingers away, it starts to recede and become more distant. And the flowers on your face fall back and don't so much recede, but begin to unbud, is the only way of describing it. They pull back into themselves.
can I reach out and see if they react to me?
You press your hand out and just nothing happens. Not
Whatever that is
immediately
really
anyway.
likes you.
How close do you want to get?
Well,
I'll poke it.
out of instinct, Burton's going to reach out. Does Jack react? Like, does Jack allow
I mean,
this?
I've offered for you to poke it, but sure, yeah, go on.
I think they're not going to poke, but they will get like very close and just kind of hover just out of reach because they're just curious about the like reaching out. Like, is this a him thing or is this somehow reacting to like body heat? Like, that's where they're.
So I'll basically give you a point where you can tell me to stop. We'll treat this, if you can see it, as Jack's hand or Jack's face, and these your fingers.
About there.
You stop within in a couple of centimeters or so, more than that. And as you get about that close, you start to see the vines move. Small pinpricks of tips of them reach out, but don't go anything beyond maybe a millimeter or two off. But you can just see them quivering. You can see the movement of the vines. And again, just as they come out, you can see the small buds of the poppies begin to unfold. But they just kind of hover just a good distance away from you.
The hell is this?
But almost like they're willing to let you come closer if you choose to.
In which case, because everyone's in on this right now, I'm gonna try. And
Are they?
maybe it's a magic thing. I'm not magic.
Ah! Stop being magic.
You guys is magic. So I will.
Oh god, drunk science.
Drunk science. So I'm gonna just try and poke. Well, try and do what Burton did and stop close to Jack's face, but it might be a bit wobbly.
As you're drunk, I'm going to ask you to make. Ooh, what's the most appropriate thing I can say here?
Husbandry now.
I'm just going to say make a grace test for me.
Do I have any grace? I have no charm. Let's see
This
if
is
I've
only
got
difficulty
grace.
6. We'll call this difficulty 4. It is only not touching something at the end of the day.
Let's see how well I can mess this up. I have 4 grace.
You'll be fine. Just don't pull a Black Joker.
Last time there was drunk science, someone made a turtle bomb.
Was that me? No.
If you know, you know.
Okay. Okay, flipping the card now. It's the 11 of masks.
Damn,
so
I
we're
was
safe.
really
We're
hoping for a
fine.
Black Joker.
I don't touch you in the
was-
face in an amazing way.
I was praying that you would just be like,
Well,
Just accidentally just
considering
deck me.
to the degree You succeeded. You bring your hand close and you kind of move to the same distance that Burton is, and you can see the flowers. It's not so much that they shift away from Burton's hand if you're keeping yours there.
I think Burton would back off because it's just a lot for just all the hands.
Yeah. I mean, that might be slightly triggering for Jack.
Yeah. Burton will step back.
Back off!
Still watching very closely, but give some space.
You step away again. Florance, you come in closer, reach your hand out, and you get to roughly the same distance, and the same thing happens. The buds begin to flower and reach out. You can move closer without touching it if you choose, considering the level of success you've got, if you want to monitor the reaction more.
Yeah, I think I will.
You can move even closer, and the buds grow larger until they flower fully. And just at the center of the poppy, you see a few small yellowish tendrils start to poke out. You get to the point where those tendrils reach out the flower's bud, and the tendrils just tickle
I'm just gonna.
the very edge of your finger,
God,
and you withdraw.
Am I a host for like a plant hive mind or something? Oh, fuck's this?
If I turn into a clicker, I will not be happy.
Can I do any kind of? Is there arcana? Like, what is this I can do to try and make any sense?
Was there anything like this in even fairy tales or something?
Not that any of you are immediately aware of. You could do a history check to see if you've heard of anything along the lines of these, but this is going to be esoteric knowledge, to say the absolute least.
Even if it's like in a fiction, even if it's like in fiction, I want to see if I like, even if I've read a book in like a kid's book about the plants that'll be your friends and sit in your body. I don't know.
I mean, the big downside you'll have to this immediately, Jack, is the fact your memory only extends back about 2 months.
Point. So I'll just chalk that up to immediately failed.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have anything on my fingers? Have those tendrils left anything there?
There is a very, very small dusting of pollen.
It's going to wipe that off of my jacket.
Am I going to get like a bee fly up to my face now?
You could provide food. I'll follow you around with a beehive. We get honey. It'll be grand.
You wipe the pollen off on your shirt. It leaves a very, very, very slight yellowish stain, which fairly slowly but distinctly changes hue into a slight violet.
What the fuck? What?
Poppies aren't normally purple, right? They're usually red.
Red?
Mm-hmm. You are correct.
Is there any particular magic that uses purple, Burton? Great.
I say that there are there are purple poppies, but it's more rare.
But
you can do a very
doesn't change color.
No, pollen definitely doesn't change color.
Is there any kind of husbandry, enchantment, like anything?
Allow husbandry check. But this is, again, it's kind of rough knowledge you might have rather than something distinct.
That's totally fair, but...
we'll call that... this is going to be fairly straightforward. Difficulty 6.
Well, that's 5 plus 4.
That'll do it. So purple poppies do exist. They are not common by any stretch of the imagination. There was actually quite close to where you are, and given the notes that you studied on this case, there was about a week and a half ago a small farming town apparently attacked and burnt down by Jack and his companions. One of the larger farms' chief export was poppies.
So Burton's going to kind of nod at this and. All right, I kind of realize the situation of us both like looming over Jack, like almost touching his face, like staring, and is like, all right, wait, sorry, I got a little lost in this. Is sorry, let's give space.
I said that it was just kind of, but I figured we'd be poking and prodding.
I normally like to try to be a little more respectful than that. I just.
Ideally keep prodding to a minimum.
We can focus on all this later, but and Burton's gonna kind of look to Florance in that, like, I think I've got a trail, like I've got a thing I want to follow.
My face is growing flowers.
Yeah, it's real cool, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm glad somebody thinks so.
I mean, I'm sure I'd feel different if it was my face, but I want you to know I am sympathetic and understand with that. I don't know how or why, but I might have a beginning of an idea of an understanding, but
I'm sure you've read our cases, and I feel like I know where your head's at. And I'm sure, and oh fuck, that was what? It wasn't actually that long ago. So much has fucking happened. Okay, so there was a poppy farm, which I'm sure is where the stalk's going. I think it was mine. Before this, that we went there, and there was me, another me, and then, well, so no, that's so we went there. There was another, like a hand worker who introduced himself and said who he was, and we he asked to help for working the barn, and I wanted to get to the bottom of what the fuck was going on, because obviously I know this place, and I'm like 9% sure I used to live here, and locals seem to recognize me.
I'm real sorry. You seem 90% sure.
I mean, my memory is all kinds of inside out, backwards.
All right, that's good to know. Okay.
I'm going off gut instinct and evidence, because the townsfolk, when we got there, knew me as someone, well, knew me by my name. And not Jack, my real name.
So your name is Jack John?
No, my name John. Jack's a cover name, but it's sort of become my name at this point. I used to be John Hooper. I've just been going by Jack because it's a bit useless now. I probably should have changed it again a long time ago, but there you go. Then they recognized my face and referring to me as John or Jonathan, and anyway, this guy at the barn, he knew something, and he tried to attack me with some fancy ornate dagger, and I don't have it anymore. The Wardens will have it now, because they would have taken it off us when we got detained. But yeah, anyway, that fight didn't go his way, for lack of wanting to give further details. Anyway, then I came through the door at this point, I linked up with the rest of the crew in the group in the farmhouse, and then I came through the door and exploded into a giant mass of vines and tried to kill me.
You came through the door and tried to kill you?
Yeah, and I exploded into a giant mass of vines. But not me, them, me.
Oh, so there's two of you.
There's two of me.
All right.
There's the other one now.
Fuck if I know. There's a plant, so we killed it with fire.
Okay.
And then that sort of spread.
That's how. Okay. That's how the fire started.
It
One
wasn't
of them,
intentional
yeah.
arson?
Well, not intentional. Well, half.
Intentional to get rid of
Survival.
the guy. It just got out
Yeah.
of hand.
Gotta
Alright,
see. That
alright.
was yeah. And that's
For,
that. And,
for your details, Florance and Burton, you have the report on this. And so far there is one thing that you are aware of, that the Hooper family farm was actually about 10 minutes walk away from the rest of the town. It extended kind of a little bit out just outside. When Inquisitorial and Warden agents arrived on the scene, every single person in that town was dead. 18 lives all counted, not including the livestock that was slaughtered.
Okay.
Burned, or was that just
killed? The reports from inspections indicated that most of them may have been killed with some form of farm implement.
Burton will look at Florance?
that point after the fire went off, we promptly fucked off because I know. Fuck, I wouldn't believe me either. A giant fucking plant monster exists, but there's clearly something. This is more than plants being growing in a weird. Like this shit is moving and reacting as if it's got a consciousness, and something tried to fucking murk me.
When the plant version of you burst in before you set him on fire, did he touch you? Was there any transference into you?
Oh yeah, he was real. Like I was proper wrapped around, and he was kind of kicking my ass. I'm not gonna lie. I was not going my way. I probably should have been dead. No, 100% I should have been dead. That was. Thanks, buddy.
And so you got out of there after that fire started. Did you head to town?
No, we fucked off.
So do you know what happened after that?
The fire burnt down the farm and probably found a couple bodies in it.
So our reports say that everyone in that town died, not by fire.
There was also one additional detail. Half of them had been hollowed out.
Burton won't say that yet. Burton's watching for this reaction.
So, that wasn't us. We were gone. Like, I mean, you just had, as far as you're concerned, a fairy tale creature come through the door and try to kill you. You're not sticking around for that. Like, we had a night in the town, went up to the farm, left. That is our trip through that place. And when we were in there, unless they're very good actors, they were all very much alive.
So, just so I got the timeline, you went, had a night in town, didn't kill them all,
No.
didn't hollow out any bodies.
What the that shouldn't be happening.
In the reports that we received, the townsfolk did not die by fire, but half of them were revealed to have their bodies
It wasn't
hollowed somehow.
It wasn't Florance yet. Then
Wait, what do you know about this?
there's been fast forwarding a lot. There's been I don't even know what the fuck. It's not a creature as by any understanding of mine, but all I can describe it as is a giant amorphous blob of black hands. Like, and it's been following us. I don't know if it will try and hurt you now, if it's jumped onto each individual person in the group, or if it's just we think it was after Sam, the kid, my son, adopted, but mine.
You got paperwork for that? Like, not that just
wrong questions.
It makes an easier case to keep you two together.
Do I look like I got paper? No, I don't know. Not
okay. I didn't know if maybe you had it found.
I'm taking him as my own. It's not a
respect. I'm not. This is not me questioning. I'm just trying to make sure I got.
He's on the scale of channelers. You and me. He's a channeler. You and me, right? You're minor sparkles that heal and do other weird things with people's minds.
I mean, not sparkles, but all right, yeah.
I'm grasping for straws. I turn into this, apparently. Now, he fucking pulls us into another dimension. That's a whole nother can of worms in and of itself, which I know nothing about beyond that.
So that's
and he can go through walls. Yes. And he can go through walls.
How do you know it's another dimension?
He took us into it, I'm assuming. That's the best way I can describe it.
What does it look like?
Like this. Very mute. Like someone's taken the color and switched it off. Except for like a purple barrier that kind of glows in the sky.
Purple again.
Oh, that's a running theme. I don't know that. So anyway, back to this amorphous blob of hands. It's sentient. It talks. It's very fucking sadistic. It very much wants people to die for dying's sake, I guess. There's no rhyme or reason as far as I can tell. I don't even fucking remember when it started, but there was incidents of first people in their dreams, some of them visited like dreams, and then outside of
there's a sudden knock on the door.
On tarnation.
It's late.
I'm gonna get up and just crack the door.
At this point, night has fallen. We've been talking for significantly longer than you thought. And, excuse me, poor sailors stood just on the other side. Pardon my intrusion.
Yeah. What can we do you for?
We're being followed.
Of course we are. Brilliant. All right.
Yes, yeah, well, to be expected.
Can we tell who by?
Burton will fully open the door at this point.
Yes, isn't it?
He opens the door, or more precisely, you open the door, and Corsair leads you across the deck and gestures back towards Saushert and the city that lies beyond. oppression and the water that lies between you and it. And there, fairly low to the water, but this quite broad ship. Lisinger's just maybe half an hour behind you, but still visible. Small glowing lanterns illuminating it, and the flag that run, the two all flags that run at the top of the mast, one a symbol of the Inquisition, and one a blood red crow, the symbol of Canehurst.
He certainly wants to let us know he's coming, doesn't he?
How fast are we compared to that?
It's a heavy ship, will be faster, but it will deal with poor weather conditions better than us. Again, we hope for clear waters.
Are we expecting troubling weather?
Said no earlier, so I hope that hasn't changed.
That has not, but he glances over across the water, and you can see the reflection of the lanterns glinting off of the ocean. I'm not sure who the martyr will stand with in this one.
It's fair.
Can we sail dark? Would that help? If we doused all the lights? No.
No.
Yeah.
Not safely.
Got any rowboats? Got anything?
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. They know where we want to end up. Best thing we have is speed at this point.
Yeah, but can always, towards the end of the journey, hop in a ship, sneak away maybe at dark, buy us a bit of time.
I mean,
Jack, I thank you for being so forthright with us. I hope you've seen that we're at least honest in our intentions.
getting Canehouse off my ass did help a lot.
And you've also drawn clarity on Poppyborough that it wasn't your group that did that to the town.
It was either whatever that thing. It was could have been either of those things, but
I'm gonna just look at the captain and give him a nod, like, you don't gotta be here anymore.
Yeah.
Don't need this.
He just kind of
Florence's
stands there
mind is
in
on
this
other
very
things right now.
slightly uncomfortable manner, just goes,
Yeah.
Thank you. Steps away, leaving the three of you at the side of the ship, looking out across the water at the crow as it follows behind. And upon its mention, Danny, can you please bring in our guest?
What? What?
hey, bud.
Why am I here? This is scary.
I don't know.
Why are you here? This is
Yeah,
I don't
lost.
know. I was just typing on my computer. Next thing I know, I've been teleported here.
Get lost.
No. Hi.
Hi, your hair looks nice.
This is weird.
Across the water, aboard the crow, deep below the depths, someone hangs. Chains wrapped around their arms, keeping them in place against the wall. A solid wooden wooden noose, the only way to describe it, locked around their neck. And it is there for the last few days that you have lingered, drifting between a lightless world and a black obsidian dream. You can hear footsteps, distant and growing closer. In the darkness, you can't see anything, you can't feel anything except the cold. And the footsteps draw closer and closer. You hear a key turn and a lock open. A wooden door slides across the floor, and heavy boots step in. On the other side of the light, on the other side of your closed eyelids, you can see a light. The heavy voice. Edlin Castron, former sword of Eledra, I have questions for you. As you open your eyes to see just a Arcanehurst stood across from you, his mask placed on a small wooden plinth pointing directly at you. As you feel droplets of blood drip from the open wounds on your head, your neck, your arms, and your body. Who is John Cooper?
Am I able to speak in this sort of weird state that I'm in? I'm just kind of weakly go out going, I don't know.
Then think on it. He turns, walks out of the room, and closes the door, leaving you alone in the darkness, matched only by the eyeless gaze of his mask, feeling the pull of the other drawing upon you, knowing not the fate of any of your friends, your family, or truly anything beyond this pool. And that is where we will end the session tonight. So, on that, I'm going to announce another 4-month break.
I'm going to need 4 months.
Don't worry, everyone. I will stab him for you.
The Zoom chat is killing me. Amazing.
Now,
Oh my God.
we'll do our wonderful little loop around the screen and make an additional person introduce who they are and then say goodbye in the space of 5 to 10 minutes.
Genuinely thought it was going to be Violet. I'd started
Can you
writing Violet in my notes.
Yeah, I got bored of the other groups. Like, Violet's is going to join this group now. It's going to be great.
I'm done with them.
So,
They
first
annoyed
and
me.
foremost, Lynn, who are you? Where can we find you? All that wonderful bit.
Hello, I'm Lynn. I'm also known as Pantoufles Art. You have seen me pop up in chat every so often. I am an artist and a streamer and video game player, but mainly an artist and a streamer. Currently do dot work. I'm working on some cyberpunk stuff at the moment, so if you want to come hang out, feel free to click on the thing and follow. We talk about tea a lot. It's cozy, it's chill. Come along, it'll be fun.
Cozy and chill. I wonder what that's like.
Complete opposite. If you need, if you need something to help you after this,
You've got 2 very different tones here.
yeah.
I hope so. Hey.
Well, speaking of 2 very different tones, hi y'all. I am Kate Purcell. I work in video games by day and do TTRPGs every free moment I get. You can find me here on this every 3rd Wednesday. You can also find me every other Wednesday on the Emergency Power Podcast, which is a Starfinder AP. We are just about to end season 3, so if you like to binge, this is a great time. You can hop in at season 3. Sundays, you can find me at Tavernaw on YouTube playing Girl by Moonlight, which is a magical girl, Blades in the Dark system. Tuesdays, I do the Table Talk Show with Canna Colson Presents, which is me and chat. I think chat is that. I don't know which way chat is. Canna Colson Presents is the stream. We do the Table Talk Show where we talk all things TTRPGs from indies to intersectionality. I can't talk about that one. I do Pokemon streams on Tuesdays. Speaking of, yes, all these different directions. Next Wednesday and the following Wednesday, the last 2 Wednesdays of this month, you can find me at Canna Colson Presents doing the My Little Pony TTRPG with Candace the Magnificent, Stellar Encore, Urban Bohemian, and DM Jazzy Hands. So very opposite tone from that. And I was telling everyone I'm very entertained because this is my 2nd of 3 horror TTRPGs this week, but 2 of them are unannounced.
Lots going on there then. Loads and loads. Go and view all of it. Consume all of the content. Jago?
Hi, I'm Jago. The fuck was that, Ben?
Hi.
Yeah, you can find me here and here. Right, I don't do things. I'm very lazy.
Aren't we all in our own special way?
Oh yeah.
And because she wasn't expecting to be here up until maybe an hour ago. Hey, Holly. How you doing?
I hate you.
That's the strongest frown game I've seen in a long time.
What, you weren't just waiting in the wings to come in? You literally only knew...
Like, I got a message from Danny like 10 minutes ago going, get in the Zoom call like right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, when I say this is unexpected. Hi, I'm Holly, and I cannot believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but for a small, brief period, I played Edelyn, and I don't know how I feel, because I now have to start the grieving process again at some point. I've already done that, I don't want to do it again.
More grieving.
The old bait and switch, Holly, the old bait and switch.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
No one likes him, it's fine.
It's just because he makes entertaining games.
I don't like you.
It's fine, that's what I'm going to put on my gravestone.
Don't you like?
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
card it
just how
underneath just to make sure.
Yeah. How I'm going to greet everyone who walks past.
I don't like you.
That's what I've been doing, so.
Well, and to top it all off, I'm me, I'm Ben. You can find me anywhere and everywhere as Try Again Ben. This is what I do. When I don't do this, I work at Diffuse Entertainment making things that are fun, or so I'm told. I like to decrease the fun levels by getting involved. You can also find things I've written in various RPG bits in places. Go and look for them. There you go, there's your challenge for the week. And I'll be here, not next week, but the following week, and continuing to do that as I enjoy tormenting these guys and the other guys. Just the people here. I like making them unhappy. It's what I do.
I want to sign out.
Cool, bye.
Fuck off.
We keep coming back for more.
I know.
Go.
With that, you can have a look over, because there's going to be a little video that comes up in a moment that shows all of our wonderful sponsors and all of the wonderful people that help us make all of this wonderful stuff. And you can check them out. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Do what you want.
Thank you, sponsors.
I think it'd be kind of rude if you didn't have a look. Not gonna.
It would be. It would very much be. And I would judge you. But
I would.
Again,
I'll be
not
there with
angry.
a sign. I'll be there with a sign just saying, this man is judging you with an arrow pointed
Yeah.
to me.
not angry, just disappointed.
Disappointed.
And with that, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of Chalice. We will see you next time. Cheerio.